Hello and welcome to another special presentation from In the Money Media. On this loaded weekend, we've been talking a lot about the LRF Cares Charity Challenge, one of the absolute best ways you can win your seat to the Horse Player Party in Las Vegas, known as the NHC, a must-go if you've never been before. But now, the rubber meets the road. We're going to talk about the last 6 races on the card. We encourage you, go over to horsetourneys.com and sign up. $250 to play. There is a baked-in contribution to Thoroughbred Aftercare, and we have a man for you. I looked through these races. I got to admit, I was pretty darn boring. I was top of the market almost across the board. So I said, that's not going to work. That's, you can use those horses in a contest, but it ain't going to win you the contest. Instead, I decided to bring in the nearest guy I could find who just gave out a 50-1 winner at Del Mar on his Double Trouble live stream. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about his Frankly Speaking column that you can only get as a member of In the Money Plus, inthemoneypodcast.com/plus. If you want to check that out, I speak, of course, of my oldest friend in racing. We got into it together. We're still here, despite the world's best efforts to stomp a mud hole in us and walk us dry. He's Frank Scatoni. Frank, what's up, bud?
I have 2 people to blame for the life I lead today. You and editor's note. Actually, 1 human, 1 equine. You and editor's note.
There you go. And that's a story that we've both told in other forums. We'll leave it on the side today. But yes, editor's note, the ultimate hunch play, who got it done for us back in the 1996 Belmont Stakes. Shout out, pour one out for our man Stan Stansky as well. I think he shoulders some of this blame. One of the great pleasures of my time in racing so far was getting to, I felt like, if I'm not tapping myself on the back here too much, properly eulogize a man who played an important role in both of our developments or falls, depending on your perspective. Okay, Frank, let's talk about this LRF Cares Charity Challenge. Del Mar races only. Great way to win your way to the NHC. I know you've been to Vegas before. Del Mar online contest. This seems to have your name written all over it. I'm going to put you on the spot. Will you be playing?
Of course I'll be playing. First of all, it's for a great cause. I love supporting anything that Little Red Feather does. They used to do the live bankroll on track. I played in that every year, basically just donated my money to charity. Never had any luck in that one. So, the mythical one, is perhaps a little bit more up my alley. And I love that they're doing this. Hopefully migrating online to horse tourneys will give a lot more people a chance to play. And I think they're guaranteeing 2 seats to the NHC. Is that correct?
I think that sounds right.
Yeah.
And at the moment, it's early days.
Sure.
At the moment, it is a big overlay. I think the people will come in droves, so I don't want to oversell that and then have people say, hey, you said it was going to be an overlay. But it certainly is possible. That's another reason to get involved. But yeah, it's been a minute since I think you've been in Vegas more recently than me. The conflict with Cheltenham has really kind of knocked me out of the box on the tournament, but something I assume you would recommend as an experience worth having for most horse players.
Yeah, I was there. I think it was 2 years ago. I did well in the Del Mar live bankroll one, ended up winning a seat, went out to Vegas for 3 days. Of course, felt like 3 months. Came home with destroyed sinuses and my clothes smelling like smoke for a week. But, that's Vegas, right?
Other than that, it was wonderful, I'm sure. Oh, my God.
But no, it's if you are a serious horse player and you haven't been to the NHC or been in Vegas for this tournament, it is an absolute must go. It's just, you can't really describe it until you walk in that room and you see 800 other horse players, like-minded people. Yeah. Most of them buffaloing to the buffet table, but that's another story. Me included, of course. But no, you're around, brothers and sisters in arms, and even though you're there to win, the camaraderie is incredible. I've made so many good friends there, caught up with so many people I hadn't seen in many years. And, where else can you win, $800,000 as a horse player? For guys like us, it's just, it's a remarkable opportunity. And I encourage everyone to try and at least qualify and get to Vegas once in your life.
Yeah, I think that's good advice. The closest thing we have to a horse players convention. Let's pivot to talk about what you've got going on. We mentioned Frankly Speaking. You're doing in-depth analysis every day. You're telling stories. You're giving a slice of life of Del Mar. You're giving out horses on there too. Going to check. People need to check that out if they want to be, if they're on the In the Money Plus side. But the Double Trouble live stream. This is a terrific contribution to the conversation about horse racing. You're getting to talk about things in real time, and it's free, and people can sign up. I'm going to let you give the details, tell a little bit more about what you and Kieran Thornton are up to, and tell them how they can get involved for free.
Well, first of all, our YouTube channel is Double Trouble Live. You can subscribe. You'll get your notifications and for all our upcoming shows. I also stream it live on my X platform, and that is at Scatoni Short Shot. It's up on the screen there, so you can follow along with me there. And it's just something I've been wanting to do for a long time. So we actually have we do 2 shows every Friday, and then spot shows throughout the rest of the week. We did a spot show yesterday, which ended up working out really well. I'll explain that in a minute. But we're going to go live stream today at 1 o'clock and kind of pregame the Friday card. Just talk about it on a macro level with a focus toward the $5 low takeout, player-friendly late double, which is a wager that Santa Anita started and Del Mar has carried on, and the pools have been phenomenal. They also have a $3 late pick 3, which is also low takeout, and that's been good as well. But our focus is primarily on the late double. So 1 o'clock today, we're going to go live, talk about the card, and kind of formulate some kind of game plan on how we're going to play that double. Well, you know more than anyone, Pete. You really don't know how you're going to finalize it until you get the first flash of the tote and you start looking at probables in real time. So that was something I thought was kind of lacking in the content that I've been providing. You know, I do my write-ups a day in advance. You know, you're giving out horses at the beginning of the day. Well, things may change. You may get scratches. You may notice a track bias. A horse you like in the morning who you think is going to be 10-1 is 3-1, and that horse is no longer appealing to you. So yesterday was a really good example of kind of going with the flow. So we'll go on again today before race 7, probably with about 17 minutes to post. We'll look at the odds. We'll look at the probables. We'll see who, you know, looks good, etc. And we'll discuss making our double wagers in real time. So yesterday was a very, very difficult last 2 races. And as you know, there was a pick 6 carryover because no one hit it. This is Thursday I'm talking about. I know the days are probably a little shuffled. Anyway, there were a few horses I liked in the first leg and a couple of horses I liked in the second leg. Well, I charted out the probables. I figured out where the value was. And one of the horses I liked, which I wrote about in my DMTC.com race of the day analysis, was a horse named Baltic Fire. It was 20-1 on the morning line. I've always liked this horse, never gets respected. I'm charting out the probables and I'm looking at the odds, and I just say in real time, well, oh my God, this horse is 50-1. You don't even have to mess around with the double if you don't want to.
Yep.
I would suggest playing win money on this horse. And then if you want to play a double, but don't want to spread too much, play it to the logical horse in the next race. So at least you're alive if your horse wins, to the horse that was taking all the sneaky money. And that double was coming back like $2,800. The horse went off at like 3-2. Unfortunately, you know, showed speed and tired. So we didn't hit the double. But the point is, at the beginning of the day, I would have put out my double plays. And even though I would have had the winner of the first leg, I would have whiffed in the second. But being live in real time, you can adjust. So I adjusted. I gave out that winner, and it was a great day. But as we all know, Pete, you're only as good as your last winner. We got to move on and try and make it happen again.
That's it. But no, that was a great pick. Baltic Fire would have been a great contest horse as well. That's the lens through which I'm going to, you know, be sort of poking you to go as we go through these 6 races. Make sure you subscribe to Double Trouble Live on YouTube. You'll get notifications for the pop-up shows. You'll know to highlight Friday is a day when you're going to be seeing the boys regularly. But before you do that, before you open another window and do that, make sure you subscribe also to the In the Money Media YouTube channel. Let's go and talk about the 6 races on Saturday. Presumably the winner of the LRF Cares contest is going to come from these. I tried so hard, Frank, in race 6 to identify a price horse in this group of 2-year-old fillies. And everyone, for me, I was finding more flaws than positives in terms of wanting to commit to them.
Yeah.
You can play a horse like Mistrial in a contest like this and just try to pick up points where others are jumping at prices. But I was curious, is this who can win this besides the 6, and who might you be playing on your tickets?
Yeah, this is a tough sequence because I looked at it also from a pick six perspective. It's very weird because you have 5 of the 6 races. You have favorites who are, kind of legit, like they're quality horses, right? So you have to kind of pick and choose your spots where you're going to go with the favorite or go against the favorite. I have a couple of races where I'm going to go against the favorite. But to your point about the contest, Pete, I think that last race is going to be a board mover and shaker. There's going to be bombs away in that race. We'll get to that when we talk about it. But yeah, look, these 5.5 furlong main track sprints all meet long. If you're in front at the top of the lane, you're home. It was like that old school Del Mar conveyor belt. You make it, no one can come and pass you. So, we're dealing with a bunch of first-time starters. It's very difficult. Normally, I would say, watch the tote and, see how much action this Baffert horse gets. But it's a my race horse. So, the horse is going to be way over bet. So that's not a clue, right? But the clue would be which horse is getting bet into the teeth of a horse who probably go off at 3 to 5, right? So look for a little sneaky tote money. I don't have any strong opinions right now. I'm going to watch the tote. I'm going to talk to my man Quiggs in the paddock. If you don't follow Tom Quigley on Twitter, his paddock observations are the best, at Quigley's_corner. I'll just throw out a couple of things that I had my mind on. First of all, there's 3 Bolt d'Oros in here. Yep. But one of them is trained by Mick Ruiz, who actually trained Bolt d'Oro. And, he legs up one of the best gate jocks in the colony, Ricky Gonzalez. So that tells me this horse has speed. Whether the horse has enough speed to go 5.5 furlongs against the Baffert and stay, I don't know. The other horse who probably has speed is the outside horse, number 8, Golden Two-Step, Edwin Maldonado. Again, great jock. Anytime in these maiden races with first-time starters, if you see a trainer put up an aggressive jock, that means the horse has speed. Doesn't mean the horse is going to win, but if the horse breaks well, the horse should be prominent, right? So I'll look at those 2. And then the other one I just want to call out, probably not for today, but number 3, Umbral. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, but the mama is Unique Bella. And, if for those who don't remember, she was a terrific elongated sprinter, right? So I think this horse will probably need one, but the breeding is outstanding. So this could be a really, really nice horse. But again, Pete, really, we have 0 clues to go on until we're in the moment.
Doesn't help us for the contest. But runners like the 2 and the 8, I mean, I was eyeing both of those as potential ones. Yeah. Ultimately, I decided I was guessing too much. And in terms of a pick, I'm going to go with the obvious one in here. And even in the contest, might just say, okay, this is one where I'm going to try to get the favorite in and go on with life. And maybe we can get cute later. Though I had trouble getting cute in race number 7 too, because it looked to me like Jack Fish was going to have a chance to potentially dominate things on the front end, making this switch over to the grass and turning back in distance after opening up 4 in the lane at Los Al last time. Peter Miller continues to have an excellent meet. This is one that, I'm going to list this as my pick in the race, but this is one where I really want help from you in trying to identify something at more of a price we can think about in the contest.
Yeah, I told you have to pick and choose your spots in a race, in a sequence where a lot of the favorites are very, very logical and could absolutely win. But I was not ready to go against this favorite either, because Peter Miller dominates these 5 furlong turf sprints here at Del Mar, absolutely crushes. He has been quiet all year, saving all his conditions, gearing all of his horses to run peak efforts here. This horse, ran on the dirt at Los Al, set really fast splits, going 6.5 furlongs, tired and finished second. Now, I'm telling you right now, that had to be a public workout for this horse, because Miller doesn't often win first out anyway, and he's pointing to this race. He's not going to blow his, $40,000 purse compared to a $100,000 purse. So this horse is absolutely live. Again, it's been all speed on the 5 furlong turf course. Even though the turf course around 2 turns has started to play more fairly, these 5 furlong turf sprints are dominated by forwardly placed horses. This horse has enough speed, a good inside post, pop the gate, make the lead, catch me if you can.
Just looking at the work tabs and the pedigree, the Baltus runner, Little Raymond, if you made me pick an alternative, might be the way that I would go. I have no special knowledge about this horse, but interesting bloodlines, And just, those 2 bullet works. It seemed like another obvious one to maybe throw in the mix. Did you have any others you wanted to mention in here?
Yeah. I mean, of course, number 3, Tiger Smiling. You mentioned the Baltus first-time starter. Well, this is a corner first-time starter, and he's really good. He's really good with his firsters. He wins a lot for this ownership group, Rusty Brown and his partners. Armando Ayuso, I know he's only, in the form it says only 9%, but he is a very, very good rider. He will give you an honest effort. He will try to put his horse in the best position possible. And he's one of those jockeys who's kind of under the radar. But when he shows up on a horse who looks interesting to me, that tells me that horse is live. Especially Corner started up in Northern California. Ayuso came down from Northern California. So it's nice to see these guys throw them a bone every once in a while. I think number 3, Tiger Smiling, is live. And then if I had to make a super duper wise guy case, it would be for number 1, Oakley Smile, 20-1 on the morning line. The hood comes off after 2 slow starts. Sometimes horses with blinkers, they just don't like it. They get out of the gate slow. You take the blinkers off, and then all of a sudden they show a lot of speed. It's very contrarian, but I've seen it happen a lot of times.
Yeah.
This horse also comes back off a layoff as a gelding. The horse did show a little bit of speed after those very, very slow starts. This is a low-sal trainer. If he's going to win a race, it's going to be at 5 furlongs. So this horse has the inside position, more speed, like sneaky speed from the rail with Maldonado up. So yeah, I could see this horse getting away cleanly, and perhaps this horse and Jack Fish, and maybe even the corner first, are duking it out all the way to the wire. But I think Jack Fish is really the one to go with.
All right, let's move to race number 8, another one where I was uncreative, drawn in like a cat to a shiny toy to this giant speed figure that the Baffert ran first time out, the Southern Gentleman. But is this one where you can get clever, or is this another one where you have to cleave towards the favorites and the cleverness will come later?
I might be completely wrong about this horse, but I've been waiting for this horse to come back, and I've been waiting to beat him.
Okay.
That race stunk.
Okay.
That race, and I don't mean by the horse's ability. That just stunk, because Baffert had a 1-5 shot in there. Who, I'm going to take the diplomatic view and say they were teaching the horse how to get strangled off a slow pace that the stablemate, and then come flying late and lose at 1-5, and then come back next time and run off the screen.
Sierra
This horse was gifted that race. I don't believe the buyer got away with slow fractions. The horse that he beat, Sierra Silver, is a way better horse and should have won that day. I want this horse to prove it to me. Stuck down at the rail with Van Dyke up. The other thing is he beat a horse called Cheever, who I was expecting to really progress and do well. And he was one of my spot plays earlier in the meet. And he ran like, oof, he was awful.
Okay.
So maybe that was just a terrible race, Yeah. So
what's the alternative?
Yeah. Plus, Pete, there's also a lot of speed in here, right? So I was going to look. I'm looking at the other Baffert, number 4, Firmus. Just cross out the last 3 or 4 races or whatever it is. Look at that maiden breaker at Ellis. If he runs that same race, stalking the pace and pouncing, that's the winning trip. I think that's enough. He's now with Baffert. Catalano thought enough of him to try him in the Iroquois, to try him around 2 turns. There's quality here. And if there's one man to get it out of him, it's Baffert. So that's the sneaky other Baffert. And then the other horse I like is actually the 2. The 6 and the 7 I would use to beat Southern Gentlemen, both trained by Mark Glatt. That's number 6, Wayne the Brain. Automatic bet for me. A Glatt sprinter off a long layoff, comes back gelded, exits a live race with 4 next out winners in his second start. He was fast enough to pressure Miramati, who was a very fast Baffert, and beat him. So I think that horse has ability. And then number 7, Good with People, old class horse, claimed by Glatt for $40,000 last summer. He's been off since. I said Glatt can fire fresh. Good outside post. Good honest horse. I could see this horse just sort of tracking on the outside and then maybe running them all down late. So I'm going to use 3 horses to try and beat Southern Gentlemen.
No, I think it's a good case. And as you talk them through contest-wise, I feel like I'm inclined to go with Wayne the Brain.
Yes.
I think the other Baffert will take enough. The Wayne the Brain case I love it when sort of one of those automatic angles, the Glatt layoff and the paper mesh like that. And the horse is going to probably be all of 6 or 8-1. I'm guessing. So very, very interesting. Let's talk
Just
about the
word of caution, though. Usually me and Glad are brothers from another mother, and I do really well with him. We've been zigging and zagging this meet, so I don't know what's up. I just might have to put him in the dunk tank and like Pat Day, but hopefully he'll come through for me this time.
Oh my God! I'm not sure if we've ever told the Pat Day dunk tank story, but we don't have time
Another
for it now.
day,
But it is
another day, Pete.
it is a
Another day.
classic. But don't. My advice to you: don't be fooled by randomness here.
True.
The samples are so small. I've seen you with Glad for years. Be very simpatico.
Yeah.
You're obviously off the schneid. You got. I was following your picks early in the meet. You had some bad luck, but obviously having the $100 horse yesterday, that's clearly behind you. I just onward and upward for you, my
Turning
friend.
the page.
That's why I'm following you in for this LRF Cares contest.
Love it.
Let's talk about the secondary feature, the California Dreamin' for these Calbreds on the turf. What do you like in here?
Yeah, look, I mean, Kings River Knight is even money on the morning line, and again, quality favorite, could win, but not today with my money. He likes to be on or near the lead. He's been lucky to be facing small fields, no pace, just completely dictating the pace with his sharp early speed. There is a ton of speed in this race. There is a lot of speed. So if Kings River Knight wins, I will tip my cap and applaud. But like I said, in this sequence, you're looking for favorites who you can beat, and this is one of them. I'm going to go with the two best closers in the race. Number 2, Aligato. Very, very fast late kick this horse has always had. Always fires, always tries his best, always comes running on late. Throughout his career, he's been a little bit camera shy. He gets up to that last horse and doesn't really want to pass, but I think the pace will be fast enough that'll kind of mitigate that, because they're going to be stopping and he's just going to be, running his race. So I like Aligato. Funny, I like 2 8-year-olds in here. And then I like number 7, Coalinga Road. I've always liked this horse. Solid closer, shows up every time. Really, really good Calbred. Both Aligato and Coalinga are always at the mercy of pace. Well, they're going to get pace today. So you can expect both of them to be motoring home. And the way the turf course played on Thursday gives me hope that, closers can actually get it done. And then I'll just throw out a sneaky one in there if you want to play a long shot in the contest. Number 8 Takes 3, 15-1 on the line. This horse has always hinted at ability, but always getting in trouble, just never getting comfortable in the race. Really improved effort last time. Lost to Kings River Knight, but Kings River Knight had it all his own way, and this horse finished up actually really, really well. Lightly raced 4-year-old, still has room to improve. Possible upset special right there.
I was with you on Coalinga Road. This was one of the horses in the sequence I did like confidently. Look at it. Basically a triple flow upgrade on Timeform US, trying to close into slow paces. Should get one here. I think if everything goes well for Coalinga Road, can reverse form with those runners from the Crystal Water last time out. So yeah, I like it. I like it when we agree. I feel like I got the test question right when my pick lines up with yours as it does there. Let's talk about the featured race of the day. We've got Breeders' Cup qualifying, winning you're in action. It's the Clement L. Hirsch Stakes. There was one I kind of liked in here too, but I'll let you go first.
Yeah, I mean, Baffert's got the 3-headed monster in here, right? He's got, Seismic Beauty, who, I mean, is going to have to go from the rail, right? I mean, that's the advantage. You got the rail, you go. He's got Rishi, who I like actually, because this horse has a lot of speed, but I've always thought he was a horse who didn't need the lead. She doesn't need the lead, but she was stuck inside in both her route races, so she had no choice but to go. I think she's going to sit the Dream Trip. I'm not crazy about the other Baffert. I think that one will probably just track from off the pace and hope the race falls apart. But I really like Rishi in here to sit the perfect trip, because Copion's got to go from the outside, right? If Copion and Seismic Beauty knock heads, I think Rishi sits the Dream Trip and certainly has a lot of quality. This horse was running in a grade 1. Baffert laid the horse up last time to point to this spot. Another grade 1. I give her a big shot. I'll look at number 2 Royal Spa as well, just because of possible race shape with Copion and Seismic Beauty setting a fast pace. This East Coast Invader is adaptable to any kind of pace. She knows how to pass horses. If you go back and look at her Shawnee, the grade 3 trip, that's the possible winning trip in a race that I think could have a quick early pace and melt down. It's not as flashy as some of the others. She doesn't have the big gaudy buyers, but when an East Coast trainer ships out here, usually well-intended. I mean, it doesn't mean they're going to win, but they believe they can win.
Yep. Very reasonable. I like Copion more than you.
Really?
I don't think she's one way.
Wow.
She uplines on Timeform US. She uplines basically in all her races. In other words, if you look at her pace figures, they are increasingly fast. So runners like that, I love in a short field, drawn outside, because I think Kimura should be able to get her to stalk and pounce. I mean, her best race was actually closing. It was the slop, it was Churchill, it was different circumstances.
Right.
But I was just thinking she'd be able to sit. I want Rishi in proper horizontals. I want Rishi, but I'm a Copion, I'm a card carrying member of the fan club. But I get it. You think their hand is forced from the outside, and she's not going to trip out. But I was just, and if she was a horse who was getting tired late in her races, I'd be worried about same. But this thing finishes, and I thought would be in really good position turning in. This is one where I thought you had an opportunity maybe for these other Baffords to make the market and have her be a backable 2-1, 5-2 kind of price. And even in the contest, I was thinking about taking it. So I guess we're head to head there in the feature race of the day.
No. I mean, she's a terrific horse. And I mean, it's Mandela. So if Mandela thinks she can get 2 turns, I have a better opinion than Mandela. Come on. But here's the thing, is Rishi going to even let that horse get over? Rishi has enough speed to keep that horse outside, or is Kimura going to clear? How Baffert, these team tactics in these races.
We've seen it before.
So if Copion has to use a lot of energy to try and clear Rishi, just because Baffert doesn't want Copion to get over and press the rail horse, I mean, I don't know. It'll be a very, very interesting race. I would like it a lot better if Copion were drawn inside, and then we'd get, perhaps a more honestly run race. But this is fascinating. And don't get me wrong, this is a quality field. These are some really, really nice ladies. And it seems that every year Baffert has someone really nice in this race. This year he happens to have wives 2, but maybe his other will win. And we'll, I didn't really like that one though, but
really kick sand in our face. We've seen that movie before.
Yes, we have.
Yeah, it's an interesting question. Usually on that stretch out, they do get keen. Because it's Mandela and because I've seen that gear from her before and just looking at the pace figure sprinting, I don't know. Something's telling me she's going to stretch out, but I'd
love to see it. I mean, because, she's terrific.
I could be dead wrong. It'll be fun. I'm really looking forward to that one. Let's talk about the race that will, in all likelihood, determine the LRF Cares contest winner. We remind folks one more time, horseattorneys.com, the place to go to get involved. We've got an allowance on the turf for these Calbreds. You already sort of tipped your hand that you think this is going to be a mover and a shaker when it comes to this contest. I have one goofy idea, but let's hear from you first. Where will your dollars go? What horse will determine the winner of the LRF Cares Charity Challenge?
This looks like a chaos race to me. There's so much speed in this race. The morning line favorite is a dirt horse with speed, but Berrios rides, and Berrios is one of the best turf jocks around. So that that really bothered me because I'm all against that horse. I mean, I'm still against it, but the fact that Berrios is on the horse means the horse is probably live, even though the horse has never won on turf. And there's a ton of other speed in here. So the problem was I couldn't find that super duper quality closer that I really wanted to sink my teeth into. But I did come up with a couple, and that's number 2, and it's a big price. Number 2, Prince of Del Mar. Okay, this horse came home respectably time-wise in her 2 turf routes. So based on my analysis, she is the strongest closer in the race. I'm sorry, he is the strongest closer in the race. Was never really a threat in those races, but I expect a big move forward here. I think the fast pace will just really flatter this horse, and this is a race where he can just possibly win by default. Everybody else backs up, and this horse just comes along, closes in under 24 seconds, and is the strongest finisher in the race. The other closer I was looking at is number 4, Cardiff Crack. Does not look good enough on paper or fast enough, but he knows how to pass horses. And I do think he'll be sitting on a peak effort. Look, Bill McLean is an old school trainer. 3rd off the bench, 2 sprints to a route. he always pops with a sneaky horse here at Del Mar, and it's usually on the turf. I think that horse is a big shot. And then I would look at number 5, Kanani. Doesn't have the best run style for this race on paper, but he never really had a chance to settle in any of his route races because he was drawn inside. So his hand was kind of forced. This trainer is on fire. I wouldn't be surprised if this one kind of settled early from the 5 hole, angled over, was kind of in the second flight, and got first jump on the 2 closers that I mentioned earlier.
Great cases. And a hunch play, too, on Prince of Del Mar. You surely do not remember that many, many years ago, I wrote a story. It ended up being unpublished about our friend and mentor, William Murray, and the day we hit the pick 6. Gosh, I wish I could even think of what year it was. It was circa 2000. It was 25 years ago at this point. But the story was called The Prince of Del Mar.
Well, Pete, you run a multinational media platform. You can't get your article published?
I should have just published it.
Do you want me to call Kinchin? Do you want me to call JK?
It's on a long. That's amazing. It's on a long. He does call the shots for all us guys. It's yes, on a long dead computer. Sadly, now I'm going to be upset that I can't find it.
Oh no!
Talk me out of my ridiculous idea in here that I'm going to try to wake up Paula Capestro and Chrome Flash. I'm seeing just enough. I'm seeing just enough ability in this horse, and the change from sprinting to routing. Is there anything here?
You know, I like Paula Capestro a lot. She does a really good job, and you know, she doesn't win often throughout the year, but she always wins a couple of races here at Del Mar. It's usually with a horse she's claimed back east and comes and runs for the ship and win. So I wasn't really looking at this horse too much, especially because of all the sprint races.
Yes.
You know, she's a smart trainer. I think if she thought this horse could get a route of ground, she would have tried already. But look, I mean, if you're a buyer speed figure guy, I mean, has anyone else run in 87? I mean, He's consistently running in the 80s. Yeah. So clearly there's some ability here. And you're right. I mean, those sprint races, she's been able to settle and pass horses. So if she can do that today, yeah, why not? It wasn't one that I came up with, especially drawn all the way outside. But, you know, it wouldn't be the first time Valdivia booted home a grass winner at a nice price. So, yeah, why not, Pete?
I was half thinking. I mean, I should probably default and listen to you, but for contest purposes, I mean, 8-1 on the line. And maybe that's right. I mean, it's probably a good line because of the figures, and that's one of the reasons why I'm attracted to the horse. But you could also see this one getting lost and being interesting for the contest.
Yeah, just because that last buyer's 68, you know, people top line. So this horse coming off a layoff. I think that horse will absolutely be higher than 8-1.
All right, we went way longer than we were supposed
sorry.
to. No, I mean, I was having too much fun. I can speed things along when I need to, but it was great having you, brother, and we'll do it again very soon. Great getting to see you out in Del Mar last weekend as well. We will be talking soon. We will have you back on here because, as you well know, no good deed goes unpunished at the In the Money Media Network. Check out the LRF Cares Charity Challenge. Horsetourneys.com is the place to go. We will be back with you Monday with much more coverage. There is so much stuff on the network right now. Subscribe to the In the Money Players podcast wherever you get your pods, Google, Spotify, Apple, you name it. Of course, on the YouTube side, let us know what you think. Who's your anchor for this contest? Go ahead. If you're brave enough to share, let us know in the comments what you think. What did we get right? What did we get wrong? And also make sure to check out Double Trouble Live and Frank and Kieran on their awesome YouTube channel as well. That's all the plugs. That's all the capping. I'm heading over to Saratoga for the first time all year.
What?
Long story.
Make the most of it, Pete. Enjoy.
For Frank, for LRF Cares, I'm Peter Thomas Fornatel. May you win all your photos.